Good morning, Emma. How are you?
Good morning, Melina. I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Feeling a little bit nervous, but I think it's our first session, so excited, I think, which is good.
I think we are too then.
So thanks everyone for joining this first session as well of our new series called Fika with. So anyone who has joined us who is in Swedish, Fika is a word that you might have come across before, maybe at IKEA, but it basically means having a break in your day, having a cup of coffee. I've got a cup of tea here, and perhaps a piece of cake. This is a new series, as I mentioned, where we'll be interviewing some key industry personalities about the pandemic, consumer behaviors, and much more, basically. We'll be hosting one every month, so please join us next time, but we'll send out more details about that. At the end of the session, we'll be hosting a Q&A session with Emma as well, so Emma, you will be having to answer some questions. Write your questions in the Q&A section. Include your job title and company name if you want to, if you feel comfortable. Otherwise, we won't be able to see this. And Emma, I guess before we start, I'm just going to introduce you quickly, if that's okay. So, Emma, you have over 20 years experience in the green beauty industry. You have worked at Weleda Nordic. You are a licensed organic skin therapist and also one of the most well-known eco-beauty personalities in Sweden. She is the president of NOC Sweden, a non-profit association and trade organization. But if this is not impressive enough, you're also the founder of Trio Brands. Tell us a little bit about Trio Brands. Quick introduction.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for having me today. It's really so nice to be here and have the chance to talk with you and to answer questions from people in the industry. Yes, Trio Brands is founded 4 years ago. Time flies.
Has it been that long, really? Wow.
Yeah. And it was an idea we had together, me and my partner and the co-founder, Tove Svanlind. As you mentioned, we worked both at Weleda, and we really felt that we wanted to reach out to different target groups. For us, it's very, very important to use natural skincare, organic skincare, of many, many reasons. And especially it's very important for women. So we wanted to reach more target groups than the ordinary Weleda consumer. And we also felt that since 95% of the users of cosmetics are women, we thought it was very important for us to be in charge of the decisions in the company. So then we started Trio Brands. It's a Nordic distributor. We are working in whole Scandinavia. We have today 11 brands. We are selling to pharmacies, beauty shops, and beauticians, salons, health trade, many different places because we have so many different brands. And from the beginning, our goal is to have a product for each and every Scandinavian woman, regardless of her income or the way she wants to treat her skin. So we want to have a broad portfolio. So that's why we were starting Trio Brands, and that's also where we are going.
That sounds really good. I think one of the key things is to actually cover that whole market, like you say, because a lot of these brands within the industry they're targeted to different groups, but being able to have that whole portfolio obviously widens your horizon as well. I'm going to jump into another question straight away, actually, because obviously we are in the middle of a pandemic, so I think we have to kind of cover that question quite quickly to get that out of the way, and then we can move on to more interesting things.
All right.
So during the pandemic, how has anything changed the way you do business, or how Trio Brands has kind of approached things? Anything that has, any difficulties and how you overcame them?
Wow, many questions in one. Yes, of course. I mean, the last year, year 2020, it was very different from all of us. And I won't focus on the tragic things and the diseases and all that, just talking about our business and our industry. Otherwise, we need more hours. Yes, it has been a different year for us. In the beginning, we saw that many salons were really suffering from the situation, and we lost some customers, clients, and we also, after a while, when it came closer to summer, saw that also the physical stores were going down. In the meantime, online sales were increasing. After the summertime, we could see that the trend was going up again, very straight up, and the salons that had survived, they were standing strong, and actually almost all our brands and clients were increasing during last year. Of course, we took some other decisions that weren't planned, nothing big, no huge changes. We started up a logistics center in the middle of the pandemic because we felt we had to, and that was a success factor for us.
What was the benefits of putting that together or setting that up yourselves?
It was in our plan, but maybe in the future. But then we came to a point where we could do it at that time during last summer, and there are many advantages to have control over the heart of the business, to send out products.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But to try to summarize 2020, I think we have tried really to listen to the needs of our clients, to listen to the needs of the end consumers and try to meet that. And I can also see that because of many reasons, people aren't spending a lot of money on travels. We are staying in our homes. We aren't buying fancy clothes, but we are taking care of our health. And our skin is also part of our health. And I can also see that the organic trend is growing. The people are really, the awareness of organic products, organic skincare as well, is increasing. And I think it has really to do with the pandemic situation.
Definitely. So
was that an answer to all your questions?
Yeah,
or should I add something?
No, that's really good. This sounds, obviously you've had, despite everything, it's been a positive year for Trio Brands.
Very, very positive. And we are so thankful for that. I mean, people are losing their jobs, and we just closed. We have the bookkeeping year closing in March, and we had a double-digit growth last year. And it's for us, it's really amazing. We're so thankful to everyone that has contributed to it.
Definitely. It's really interesting touching on the consumer kind of behavior, and you've seen obviously a change in kind of the way they buy products because they're focusing more on their skin because they're not spending it on travel and things. What sort of products in your ranges have done particularly well in this period?
Yeah, as I said, almost all the brands were increasing last year, but we could especially see that on face care with a little bit more treatment. How do you say that? Yeah, like masks or yeah. And also our sun care range it was growing a lot. So
people are out in the sun more.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe they bought their sun care products in Sweden instead of in other countries.
Okay, that's an interesting point of view.
Yeah, it's just yeah, that's what we think, because it was really increasing, the sun care products. Our intimate range was also increasing, which I think
people are staying home more.
Staying home more. But that's really, I think that range would have increased anyway, because it's really a topic that needs to be more highlighted intimate care products for women. It's so, it's a hard topic of mine, so I can talk about that for forever as well. So
go on if you have something else to add to it, for sure.
It's just that we're talking about skincare, we're talking about hair care, the surface, really the surface. And then we know that so many women are suffering from intimate problems, and we don't talk about it. And it really, vad heter det? Påverkar, influence? Affects. Thank you. It really affects your health, your well-being, your mood, and it's so easily sold with good, natural, organic products that don't irritate the intimate parts of your body. So yeah.
So are you finding, because obviously you are a skin therapist and you must have come across a lot of these questions before, but is it a little bit taboo for women to still talk about their intimate care? That are you still coming across that? It's a bit kind of,
yeah, I would say
shameful.
so. I mean, of course, it is different. One can think that when the girls are younger, girls can talk more openly, but that's not always the case. So I really think it's important to talk about it with all women, and also with men, because usually they are living with a woman.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a topic that needs to be highlighted, and yeah, it deserves to be more in focus.
Yeah, definitely. Circling back a little bit.
Yeah, that was really out of the topic.
Yes, that's fine. That's great. So just a positive thing, if you can name like one positive thing, obviously, that has come out over the last year for you personally, but also professionally.
One thing, there has been many things from a professional point of view. As I said, we had a great year, but since we had this great year, we have also had the chance to hire new co-workers, and that's for us, it has been very, very positive. I found so good women to work with, and that feels great, and they are really contributing to the coming growth and to our company. So that's, for me, that's really, really positive.
So you're expanding, that's great.
Yeah, it's great. We have huge plans for the future.
Exciting.
And from a personal point of view, there are also many things. I think that I really appreciate a life in another way, just to be out in the sun. When it was very depressing in the darkest time of Corona, and you really didn't know what was going to happen to you or your job or your dear ones, I could really appreciate to be able to walk with my youngest daughter to school. The sun was shining. I have a house, I have a family, and after we all had Corona for actually
of
2
course.
times.
Yes,
yeah.
you actually got Corona.
Yeah, we had it, and after that, I am also very, very happy. We are all fine. We are back in our normal lives, and so there are many things to be grateful for.
Definitely. And what sort of impact on the future do you think this will have for the industry? Because obviously you've got great plans and growth plans. Is the pandemic going to be like positive in the long term, do you think?
I am pretty sure it will affect us all in a positive way, as it has already done during the past year. And I think that we won't have a normal life as we had before. We won't have a business as it was before. It will be a change before and after the Corona situation. And I am very sure that people have evaluated the consumer behavior, the way of living in another way during this period. And on one hand, as I said, people have more money to spend, they have more interest to invest in their health, in themselves. So then I think that you will have pay more attention to sustainability and to what's really contributing to this planet in a good way, to yourself in a good way, and also maybe to be a little bit more careful how you consume and what you consume and what the effects could be for you and also for the coming generations. On the other hand, there are people now suffering from a financial point of view. They have lost their jobs. They don't have the money to buy maybe what they bought before. So I think we have also two groups here. But overall, I think that sustainability will be more in focus, because this is also what this has, well, how do you say that? What it's all about when we, it's more clear. We have one life, we have one planet, this is what we got.
And I think as you highlighted as well, from a personal perspective, appreciating the things that you actually do have. And, you know, yes, maybe you can't travel at the moment, but actually what do you have? It's health. You can contribute to a more sustainable planet, and actually focus on buying products that are supporting that. So that's really interesting. In terms of taking brands on board, so obviously you're continuously looking for new brands. Has that changed during this year? Like, how does that work for you?
We have had quite an aggressive plan from the beginning, and I think we kind of still stick to that plan. I also think that when we came out the past year so very well is we have really focused on our brands, and we really hand-picked them. They are chosen to be sustainable, to also have the result that you're looking for, to have the efficacy. And they all are holistic brands with very, very good quality, and they really fulfill the wishes from the consumers as well. Since that has always been the plan for us, so I think we will continue to look for that kind of products. I can't really say, yes, we have changed some brands on our wish list, but pretty much the same way forward.
That's great to hear. And I think putting the consumer in focus, obviously focusing on results as well. Sounds like you're results driven with the products, which is great. So do you have any advice for companies or brands who are wanting to break into the Nordic market? Obviously you're a distributor, so you have really great inside knowledge to that.
Yeah, I will try to. It's difficult really to advise also, but I will try to. We, and I think also, or I know also other distributors, get the question very, very often from different brands. We are contacted a lot from different brands. There are so many brands wanting to enter the Scandinavian market, which is wonderful, because as we really wish that the only brands existing here would be the natural organic ones, and the conventional would be gone. It's important to know that it takes time to enter as an unknown brand to this market, and also we can also see that the brands existing on the market are quite many local brands. It's also very important to have digital material, since in our region we are working with a lot of online content. But I think it's important to find a distributor that shares the same value as you do as a brand and start that way. But the competition is quite big, and it's also important to know that. Now I can't hear you, Melina. No. No, you were muted.
How strange. Technical issues. We said beforehand that this was probably going to happen, so I'm sorry.
Yes, it always does.
So do you think focusing on your digital marketing is going to be obviously even much more important now, because now we can't physically meet really at the time being, so that's even more important.
Yeah, and that's also what we have seen during the last year, that many many salons were before the pandemic working as a salon, but now they have added on a web shop as well. So that's also something that we can see.
That's really great to know. And then going on to some trends, what do you see as sort of the biggest trends within the green beauty category in 2021?
Well, we are already in April, and yeah, except for the biggest trend of all, and that's natural and organic skincare. Yes, and that's nice. But also we see natural with natural sun care products with physical filters are increasing. You can also see this more highlighted very efficient ingredients like hyaluronic acid, for example, niacinamide. I don't know how you say that in English, but no, niacinamide in Swedish. Yeah, those very, very potent and efficient ingredients, as well as like face boosters, like serums, sheet masks, still going strong.
Is that still going strong with sheet masks?
Yes, wow. Yes. Actually, we ourselves just launched 2 new brands for a while ago, and they are flying off the shelves. Yeah.
That's really good. So with obviously Swedish people, we spoke about this a little bit beforehand, that obviously I am really fair, so it makes sense that sun care products are selling very good at the moment, and of course with people being out more, like you said as well.
Yeah, and I also think that the past years it has been a huge debate regarding the difference in natural filters compared to conventional sunscreen filters. And before it has been more focused on how the skin is affected, how your health might be affected. But nowadays, and since like 4 years ago, it has been more focused on how the oceans are affected and the coral reefs.
You read a lot about that, actually.
Yeah, and that's, I think,
toxins into the ocean and killing little microorganisms.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to understand that the coral reefs, even I mean, we don't have them here, nor in the UK, but they are giving oxygen to the whole to the planet in the oceans, of course. So it's very important to be careful about the coral reefs, even though you don't have them in the sea that you are bathing in.
Yeah, it all gets transported around.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that's also why we can, I think it's connected to why we can see that the natural sun care products are increasing.
Definitely. Because you are a qualified organic skin therapist, I'd like to get some inside knowledge on some of the most common skin conditions, especially if you're, for example, a retailer and you have consumers asking you about some conditions. Do you have any sort of tips, or can you help them, or is it by stocking certain products or treatments?
Absolutely. Up here in the north, like 70 or 75% of, and women are the target group that's mostly using skincare products. 75% of women have sensitive skin or skin irritation or very dry skin. Our skin is, it is sensitive due to many different reasons, but mainly because we have the winter. It's very cold, and then we have the summer, and we are moving in between. And we are more sensitive to fragrances, I would say, as well. So it's very often
to use, how compared to like a natural fragrance, for example, and a conventional. Obviously, more sensitive to the synthetic.
Yeah, but also sensitive to the natural, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, very often just one say that, well, it depends on if the fragrance is natural or if it's a synthetic one, and I totally agree with that. But I can also see very often that a woman can react on a natural compound, even though it's natural, or just because it's natural. I mean, the nature is powerful. We all know that.
Of course, yeah, and it goes back. Not meant to put an essential oil directly on the skin, for example, because it's so potent. So that makes perfect sense. We're starting to run out of time. So
no.
But looking ahead, just before we can go into the questions, how are you looking into 2022 with Trio Brands? Can you reveal any of your greater plans that you have? Give us something, maybe.
There are still secrets. I can say we see a positive trend. We have we will grow. We will expand, and and that feels great to have that in front of you and just work toward it. We are looking for new brands. Brands are more than welcome to contact us. Really.
Great.
Yeah, I can see as a more an overall analyze is that I can see in the industry that people are getting more and more loyal to local brands, and also it's important that I saw that it also during the pandemic when you couldn't order things from China or from other part of the world. It's important to find a local solution for it. And that I think will continue.
So that's really good to know, and interesting to hear that you'll be growing, and we're so excited to see you continue the journey, because it has been I guess 5 years is not a long time in sense of business, and you've just grown tremendously already. So that's really, really exciting.
We can have an update Fika in a year.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Of course, we're also hoping you would come and speak again at Ecolife Scandinavia in November.
I will. It would be an honor to be there again.
Great. So then we can have a catch up at that point as well.
Sure.
So should we go into some questions, I think?
Sure.
Because we have a few already come in, which will be great. So from Carol Dunning we have, are there any differences in the beauty regime between Scandinavian and European women which affect the products you choose to distribute? So
from our point of view, for Trio Brands, I can say that we not in how many products you use, but here again, if possible, less fragrance is what we are looking for.
Because so if it's sensitive skin.
Yes.
And that's the difference, because we spoke about this before as well. You obviously have very kind of tan skin already, which is maybe a little bit more European than Scandinavian.
Yeah, so but it's super sensitive, I can say.
Fair enough.
It is.
So then I've got another question here. Someone would like, I think it's Carolina, wanting to ask about NOC Sweden a bit more. So obviously we didn't really cover that. So
no, we didn't.
We can go into that a little bit more. So I don't know if you want to just give a brief overview of NOC Sweden first, and see if it answers the questions.
Yeah, sure. NOC Sweden is a trade organization, and the companies that are members are just obviously members. We are working for increased awareness of natural organic cosmetics. It's a network, you can say. It's not a certification, but we have quite strict member criteria. So we don't want anyone with synthetic ingredients to be a member. We don't allow that. We are working with different campaigns. We are running the Organic Beauty Awards,
which is coming up, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's coming up now in May. The nominations were released like 4 weeks ago. Yeah, it's very exciting. And what more to say? There's so many things to say. We inform consumers about the advantages with natural organic cosmetics. We are right now working on a case in it has with the law system to do. We are representing the voice of the members of the companies that are working or developing, producing natural organic skincare in Sweden. It's a national organization.
That answers actually some of the questions. There's one
Great.
more here. So, in terms of being a member, what do you benefit from that? And can international organizations also become a member, or
Yes.
does it have to be a Swedish organization?
No, international also, and you get a lot, and you can read about all that on nocsweden.se.
Great.
Or contact me and I can give more information, because it will take too long. But there are many benefits, and also you are a part of a bigger platform where you can gain a lot of both information and help from.
Yeah, that's great. So got some more questions here, which is moving away from NOC Sweden, unless you have anything else to add. There is also a report, isn't there, that you produce every year about the market in Sweden, and you survey all of your brands. And is there one coming out this year as well?
Yes, it is. It is.
Amazing. When is that coming out?
Well, because of this situation we have had, I can't say any date yet, but it is.
Great. We'll keep an eye out for that, and we can share it obviously with everyone who's joined us as well.
Sure, absolutely. It's a great report, and that's very good that you mentioned it, because that's really something we are very proud of.
Yeah, definitely. So I've got another question here from Richard, who's a business development executive from Solidu, a brand. Just thanking you so much for your time and point of view of everything in the industry. So I guess we've kind of covered this a little bit, but what differentiates the Scandinavian customers from other areas of Europe, which I think we have covered a little bit, but what preferences do they have for their cosmetics products? Do you know any differences?
Yeah, I can say just some words about it, and of course it's also very different depending on where and how you look. But one thing is, again, the fragrance. People are very sensitive. We aren't that used to essential oils, even though I think it's amazing, and we should really teach people instead of taking the essential oils away. The design of the package of the product, of course, the efficacy is very important. But sometimes you can also see that the routine is less is more. That's something that I see that Scandinavian women like. Just a few products, this more minimalistic routine.
Yeah, not the K-beauty.
No, some people yes, some yes. So it's very. I think we have all different trends.
Yeah, and then I've got another question from Laura. Do your products include natural ingredients, and where do they come from? I mean, obviously you don't have products yourselves, but the products that you stock, they're all natural.
Yes. They are all natural. They also have a very high percentage of organic ingredients. And if the question is from where the brands are from, it's from different part of the world.
Everywhere. So not just obviously Scandinavia.
No.
Perfect. So I've got another question from Warwick. There's lots of questions actually coming in, so we'll try and answer them all, but obviously we can send them over to you as well afterwards, and we can publish them.
Absolutely. I will try to answer everything.
Good. So from Warwick, we've got a question asking if are women using natural products specifically for pregnancy? Have you seen any, or do you have products for pregnancy?
There are products for pregnancy, and very often it's the case that women are discovering the natural products when she is pregnant, and when she starts to realize that things she puts on her skin can transfer into her baby. So it's a very, very common that you change from conventional cosmetics to natural during pregnancy. And there are also brands and that are fully focused on pregnancy, but also brands that have one or two products for pregnant women.
Yeah, that's really good. And then I've got a question from Tina. So you've mentioned that Scandinavian customers are more focused on local brands during the pandemic. It's kind of shifts. Do you see any options for new British brands to enter the market? And also, are you considering any changes after Brexit? That had to come up, didn't it?
We saw some changes during Brexit, but I think that there is now much more stable, and it's not a huge problem anymore. So yes, of course there are room for so many new brands in the Scandinavian market. So just come on, come over here.
Go through how to contact you in the end as well, and what the best ways are if you are happy to share that.
Sorry, please repeat.
Oh, we can maybe share your contact details at the end.
Yes, of course. Of course.
If you want to, of course.
You will also find me on LinkedIn, or on our website, freabrands.com.
Easy to find people, especially Swedish companies are very transparent with
really
information. So I'm gonna add in one more question, and then I think we should start wrapping up this session to keep it short and concise. So this is from, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this name correctly, Steen, from the trade office in Peru, who is sitting in Benelux and in Scandinavia. Do you see any potential in Sweden for natural and organic ingredients? Obviously, you are more finished products, but organic ingredients from South American countries such as Peru. Think of native ingredients such as chia oil, sacha, inchi oil, and cocoa butter.
Yeah, even though we don't produce products ourselves, we are working close to production as well with our brands. And I have also contact with other members from NOC Sweden. And I think that if there are any ingredients with the history and you can prove results, it's always interesting.
And how important, this is a question from me, how important is the story behind the product? Knowing where the ingredients have come from and, you know, the workers' conditions.
I think it's very important. For me, it has to do with the authentic, how do you say?
Authenticity. Transparency.
Transparency, yeah. Now we froze. Am I froze? Yeah, you can still hear me. Okay, good. I think it's very important that you can trace the ingredients, that you know that they were harvested in a good way, with good salaries, transported in a good way. And I think it's connected to, if you produce natural organic skincare with all what has to do with that, it's important that the whole chain is as good as the product itself. It's very, very important.
Got another question from Raphael. How important is vegan and ethical for the Swedish market? And of course, the transparency check we've just covered, but how's the vegan skincare market like?
It's very important. And here we have a very strange situation, since vegan is not automatically natural. You can have synthetic, or mostly you have synthetic ingredients, and you call it vegan cosmetics, which is correct. So I am really working very, very hard to try to explain the difference between vegan natural cosmetics and vegan synthetic cosmetics. But vegan is a trend, and I think it's a trend that's here to stay. So it's important. And many consumers, many younger consumers, they have no idea what they are putting on the skin, but it's important for them that it's vegan.
Yeah, and if you look at vegan versus cruelty-free as an example, main differences that you know of, or do you know what sort of the difference is there?
Yeah. Cruelty-free, that has to do with animal testing, and vegan has to do with no animal ingredients.
Right.
Both is important, but you can have a wonderful product with organic beeswax, and it has not been animal tested. So you can combine it. But I think transparency is the key word here again, and sustainability.
No, absolutely. I think that's all the questions that we have time for today. So thank you so much for joining us. And so where can we find you? Do you have a social media handle that you want people to start following you on, or how do they find you on?
I love to talk with people and especially about this. topics. LinkedIn, you can find me on LinkedIn, Emma Bergqvist. You can find me via triabrands.com. You can find me at Facebook or Instagram, or send me an email, emma@triabrands.com. And again, thank you so much for having me. This was so nice. I really hope that I could answer some questions and inspire people to continue their wonderful work with natural organic cosmetics.
Fantastic. I mean, yeah, if any of you guys that have joined us today, if you have any more questions, obviously Emma is more than happy to answer them, but do send them across to us as well, and we can collect them and also publish them online as well. And of course, we will be putting this up as a YouTube video and also a text version, so anyone can refer back to what we've discussed today. So thank you everyone, and thank you, Emma. Keep an eye out for this webinar as well, and we'll also be publishing some written ones in the meantime, so I hope everyone will enjoy those ones. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend.
You too. It's Friday, isn't it? Bye.
Great. Bye.